Hello and welcome back to the Only Accies preview for this weekend's game against Kilmarnock. First of all, let's go back and look at the 1-0 draw with Inverness. And Brandon, it was very much the case, which has been a lot of our games this season, where it could have been a lot better for Accies, but on the flip side, it also could have been a lot worse. It was a game where we did have chances, or looked like we were going to have chances to get goals, and just could not do that. It was a good goal by Mullen, but there was scope for plenty more in that game. What did you make of it? Obviously being there in the crowd. Good wee photo of you with the fans on Instagram.
I quite a lot of people through my work and that, because it was obviously in BBC. I was well spotted. Goal. But I predicted one each. It was the type of game I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest. Very similar to the majority of games we have had this season, where we're the better team for the initial part of the game. We get that first goal, and then we should be going out of sight. We should be capitalising, should be going more forward and sort of putting the game more to bed. But then on the flip side, by the time the full-time whistle comes, we feel quite glad that the whistles came, because it looked as if Inverness were going to be the team that actually did score the second goal. So it's frustrating, because we do start these games well and we do create the chances, but ultimately we're not finishing games off, and that's what's led to us only getting a point out of the game. But I think over the course of the full 90 minutes, a point was a fair result. It's just frustrating, because it's just a very similar situation that we found ourselves in time after time, and we're going about it constantly. If we've got a striker, we'll probably be out of sight. If we've got someone that's clinical up top, we've won that game. I think Mullins took his goal very well, and he's obviously shown there his capabilities going forward, and it's frustrating on probably the fans' part as well, the fact that we've not seen him in a more forward role, because I do think he would offer us something different to what we've been able to. But it's clear as day he's obviously playing in that central sort of midfield role, because Taylor doesn't feel like the other players that he's got as capable as what he is.
One thing that we spoke about kind of after the game, though, is coming to the end of the game, we had Andy Winter come on, we had Andy Ryan come on, but the shape and the system was the same. And we know that Stan is trying to build this system, and we get that, but something we've discussed quite a lot in the podcast is there are times where you need to change that up. And we saw that against Arbroath, and it worked well. And I just thought it was weird coming into the end of that game, having three strikers on, but persisting with just the one up top. And I thought he'd have changed it at least to two up front, and maybe have Andy Winter out wide that he's done before. That stuck out to me a wee bit, like you're bringing on these attacking players, these strikers to win a game, but then not playing them in an attacking position, if that makes sense. You're putting them out wide.
It's extremely frustrating, because I think for the start of his tenure, I don't think in the vast majority of it, you've not seen subs being made that aren't like for like changes. And with the case of this game, he's brought on these strikers, but they've been like for like changes, because he's put the strikers into positions which the player that's came off in, which is so frustrating, because fans were calling out for it. The fans have been calling out for it for ages. We've obviously spoke about it, and it's good that he's brought these attacking-minded players on, but if you're going to persist with the setup, then it sort of defeats the purpose of bringing them on to an extent, because you're not utilising them how you should to sort of go and take the game to Inverness.
So before we talk about the game at the weekend, there was a little bit of news that came out the day of recording this, some injury updates. So first of all, Joe Hilton is definitely out for the next kind of 4, 5, 6 weeks, it looks like. We've got Shaun Wants obviously out on loan. That's another thing. Shaun Wants out on loan, so we'll maybe talk about that in a second. They said that Jamie Hamilton should be back in training this week, but it might be too soon for him to play on Saturday, and Lewis Smith is back in contention as well. So we will be without a few players. It does give the likes of Steve Lawson a chance to continue in the team as well. But let's talk about Shaun Wants being out on loan first. It kind of took everyone by surprise, I think, to see this loan pop up down to Peterhead. But it's probably the smart decision, in my opinion. No, he's not going to get in ahead of Popescu and O'Reilly at the moment. We've also got, obviously, Brian Easton on the bench as well. So he needs game time. And from the way Stuart Taylor's talking, he's going to be in his plans for next season as well. It's not as if he's like a Ben Sterling. He's not going to utilise him. So just to get him out there, get his fitness up and get some game time under his belt, that's a smart move, in my opinion.
No, it is a smart move. He's got players in front of him at the present moment. Obviously, when he's had those running games for us, he has been a really good player. And it's just he's just unfortunate with these injuries he constantly gets. But he's still going to be training at Accies when he's not with Peterhead. And if we're being honest, he's not going to break the sort of the Popescu-O'Reilly partnership to the remainder of the season unless they start having a howler, which fingers crossed they don't. So no, it gets some game time, and it means that hopefully that run of games, as well as training with us, gets him back up to fitness scratch, and sort of fingers crossed he doesn't get any injuries for now at the end of the season, and he's just sort of ready to go next season. So no, I have no qualms in that loan move at all. Going back on to sort of players that are injured, the Hilton one, I thought Fulton's got us a point there at the end of the match. Obviously, we've said that we could have won it in the first half, but then in the second half, Fulton's made a few saves that have ultimately got us that point. So hopefully Fulton comes back into it and sort of steps up to the mark. But it's going to be a bit of a miss without Hilton, but I've got no sort of doubt that Fulton will sort of step up and be a ready-made replacement. We already know what Fulton's like, so I've got no issues with that. And then with regards to Jamie Hamilton, obviously Lawson's played against Inverness, and I thought Lawson had a better game. So it's not as if those players been out injured. There's not replacements there for them, so I'm not too worried with that.
Something else that was mentioned in this article was Stuart Taylor mentioning they're attempting to bring players in. We've kind of discussed this just slightly off camera. It's a bit of a weird one because, as you pointed out, he says we were outbid for players in February. It's a loan market. So I'm confused at how you can be outbid for a player in the loan market. Maybe that's us being naive, but it doesn't really make sense to me. It seemed to me as if it was maybe said to appease people. We didn't get what we wanted in January. We got good business done in January, but we didn't get the positions that we needed strengthened properly, I would say. And it seemed to me a wee bit of a throwaway comment, just kind of said to appease people. Now, listen, they may very well be looking, and we know they keep talking about they're looking for the summer and looking for next January and all that as well. I don't know, it seemed like a strange comment to make to me in the press.
It was a sort of, see if you were to have a notebook or the sort of Accies phrases that you're always seeing fed in the media. That's a perfect one. So I don't know if he's not thought about what he said when he said it, because like you said, it's been, I know for some loan deals you do get, you need to pay a certain fee and whatnot. We've not been outbid, we've not went in friendly. Let's not kid ourselves on. He said that to just make it look as if they've tried to do something, when he knows himself that that's what we're dealing with until the end of the season. We just need to hope that this line that we're constantly fed with them, that we're looking to the window and then the window ahead of that. That's not an Accies catchphrase that we hear in the media usually. So we hopefully that's something that he does follow through with. We've obviously talked about Popescu. That's one that's would make complete logical sense. That's one that we've obviously already mentioned, but you'd like to think that that's one that is a ready-made, keep someone that you know well, he knows us well, and builds the squad for next season, because we're not safe yet. We're by no means safe, but you'd like to think that next season we will be playing in the Championship, and with the squad of players we've currently got just now, adding certain players in certain positions and having them in place for next season, I have no qualms or no doubt that we would be fighting for the playoff at least going into next season, because it's looking likely that next year one of the teams that will come down isn't going to be one of the big boys that have been the hard hitters in the Championship as of recently. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves and look forward to the Championship when we're not even confirmed to be in there. But hopefully Taylor's a man at his word, and we do sort of plan and we have players in, or at least tied down for the season ahead.
Yeah, but well, let's look at the game then this weekend. One player that will be playing by the looks of it is Steve Lawson. We did a wee bit of digging, or I should say a fan sent me this on Twitter, just to say that Steve Lawson is an 18-month deal, so we do have him tied down for next season. That is good news. It's another player we can use to build in the squad. So he's definitely going to be starting. We're obviously going to have Ryan Fountain as well. But again, I feel silly every week asking you this, but if you were to make any changes to the lineup, what changes would you make? There are some players obviously out with injury, but are there any tactical changes you would make going into Killie, or would it be unchanged?
You know what, I would change it. I don't think we will, if I'm being honest with you. It seems like we're wasting our breath by having this wee segment at times because we kind of know what's going to come. That being said, hopefully Scott McMahon.
I'd love Scott McMahon to be back, by the way.
That'd be ideal, wouldn't it? Scott Martin. Hopefully Scott Martin, he's obviously getting these more minutes under his belt. Hopefully he's building his fitness up, and you'd like to think at some point he's going to be ready. Hopefully then that would then allow him to sort of swap players' positions, with Regan Mimno.
Yeah, listen, I agree. I don't think we'll see any changes. My fear with taking Mimno out of the midfield, not saying he doesn't deserve to be dropped at times, but I feel like you lose that player who can somewhat play the ball, if that makes sense. You've got Scott Martin. He's your workhorse. He will run for the end of time. You've got Spence, who's almost in that same bracket, maybe a bit more physical. And then I feel like you've got Mimno just to kind of counterbalance that with somebody who can actually pass a ball and play the ball well. So I do feel like if you take him out our midfield, you lose that you lose that ability sometimes. But I do agree there are times where I would like to see Spence and Martin kind of partner up with somebody like a Mullen, kind of in that more creative space going forward. So if I was to make any changes, as you said, Martin's building hopefully his match fitness up. So I would have him and Spence together. We'd have to keep Mullen in that midfield role, but I would push him further forward.
Allow him to go far further forward. If you've got Martin in there with Spence, it allows that sort of more freedom for the player that is in the midfield to get a bit further forward. And I do think that utilising Mullen in that sort of position, he's shown that his capabilities with some of the goals that he has scored this season. I just think we've not utilised him well enough because we've not had the resources to do so, which has been frustrating. But I would like to see Mullen in a more attacking role, and I don't see it happening, unfortunately. I think we will just go with the exact same setup. And I think these type of games against your Kilmarnocks, I have no issue playing the setup in which he does. I think against the sort of bigger teams, the teams that are going to attack you a bit more, that's the time when you do use this type of setup. We will still get chances, and we've proven against Kilmarnock we will get chances, but you do need to have a bit more sort of stability at the back, and that setup does give you that. Obviously, you can change the sort of setup if we're not winning going into the second half or whatnot, but I've not got a big issue with playing the setup against Kilmarnock away. This is when I wouldn't have a big issue. It's just the certain players that he utilises in that are a bit sceptical sometimes of who he starts.
Well, Killie have picked up form a little bit in the last 5, 2 wins and a draw and 2 losses, undefeated in their last 3. They're really kind of starting to kick on a wee bit. Kyle Lafferty's starting to show his quality again in the Championship. So I say this every week, but this is by no means going to be an easy game. I can see it being really, really difficult and dogged, much different to what it was last time we played Kilmarnock, because last time we talked about we were arguably the better team. I mean, I don't think that'll be the case this week. I think we will need to kind of buckle down a wee bit and kind of soak pressure up. I think we'll see that a lot on Saturday. So what is your score prediction? How do you see the game lying out?
I completely agree with you. I think there's an argument to be put that we've actually been better than Kilmarnock in every game that we've played this season with them.
We have played well against them.
We have played well. We've just been unfortunate not to get the results in any of them. But I think you're correct with what you've said. I think we will need to soak up a lot of pressure. Obviously, I think McInnes is starting to get his sort of sayings to see Kilmarnock playing the way in which he wants them to play. And obviously being away from home, they're sort of, Arbroath are starting to drop points as well, so they really want to go for this promotion push. So I think we've been on this sort of unbeaten run that we're told about. That's God knows how many draws it is. But
in the last 5, it's 4 draws, 4 draws and a win.
4 draws and a win. I think although we've been consistent with the draws. I think this is the game in which because we've not had that many defeats since Auchinleck, but I think this is where we will get beat. And I think it's going to be 2-0 to Kilmarnock.
That's actually going to be my score prediction as well, was 2-0 Killie. I just think they'll have too much fun. As you said, McInnes is really starting to kind of have his stamp on the team and get them playing how he likes. And obviously he's got quality players in there as well. We mentioned Kyle Lafferty in that as well. So I also think it's going to be 2-0, but I think it's all good one.
Don't get me wrong. I honestly, there's no huge differences between both sides, which we've shown in the games. I just think, we're very inconsistent with getting victories with and they're pushing for the title. I think this will be the game where we do get a sort of wee blip and then hopefully we recover from it. But I hope both of us are completely wrong and we obviously get the win. And I think if we do take it in with the right attitude and hopefully Killie aren't on their game, then we've got every chance of winning it. We've shown that we are sort of capable of getting these type of results of old. So fingers crossed we do. But it's one which I'm not too confident going into.
All right, well, you've heard our thoughts. Let us know yours on Twitter. Of course, the link for that is in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you after the game.